uh, going live without an announcement. Go figure, right? No one will even be here, but that's what I get for not teasing a live video and going on so late at night. But hey, you know what? Here I am. Uh, Things look a little bit different, don't they? Uh, things are going down in Star Wars, right? Has Star Wars fandom collapsed, or are they just now getting started again? Um, Kathleen Kennedy over there at Disney is going to be stepping down. I mean, a lot of people that I know don't really care about that now at this point because there's nothing really that they can do, right? I mean, is Star Wars dead? I don't know. I see a lot of hype over there on X with this Andor show. I guess season 2 is coming out. They released a trailer. I did watch it just out of curiosity because I didn't have to pay to watch a trailer, so that's nice. Um, Music choice, awful. What were they thinking? Um, Not Star Wars music at all. Found that to be very weird. Um, who does that? Oh yeah, Disney. Disney does that. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of neat that they're going to be tying in some material from uh, Catalyst. And if you liked to read the Star Wars Disney canon books, Catalyst was the book that led up into Rogue One, which was, in my opinion, the best Star Wars film that Disney released. Um, but as much as I liked that movie, I'm not going to be tuning into Andor. Rob D joins the chat. Hello, Rob D, and Cody. Well, hello, Cody. Um, just popped on here without an announcement. It's been a long time since I've been doing a live stream, so I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. So I'm sorry. But I was just talking about Andor starting up season 2. I know a lot of people walked away from Disney Plus last year. Didn't they announce like a 500,000 loss in subscribers or something like that? Maybe I'm exaggerating and that's too many, but it's what they deserve. But they'll probably get some more people back with this new season. But don't really care because I've been catching up a lot on the Star Wars expanded universe. Cody says, long-time viewer, first time catching a stream. Well, thank you. They're not that exciting anymore because I don't have a crew with me to talk about stuff. It's just me winging it. So I apologize. But yeah, I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I made up this little podcast note thing that I was gonna try to follow, but my notes are pretty crappy, and I wrote these things down several months ago. So I'm just gonna kind of scrap this and maybe we'll scrap that because there's nothing relevant on that anymore anyway. So I've been reading Star Wars. Getting back into the expanded universe has been fun. I wouldn't say I took a break from reading. I just I've been taking my time with the books, going really slow, and I read the Black Fleet Crisis trilogy last year. It was like November, December, and I have been getting my reviews for those things done. Which before I got on here, I just recorded a review for The Shield of Lies, Book 2. So I'll be editing that one here tonight, and I'll probably be releasing it tomorrow. And then next week, I'll be doing Book 3, Tyrant's Test. Do that review. Some of these books, when you revisit them, they're better the second time. And I've thought about revisiting more books that I really didn't like, just to see if, because of getting more knowledge in the Star Wars expanded universe, reading a lot across the board, that maybe some of those early books that I read would be better the second time around. Maybe they'll make more sense. Maybe there's things that I missed the first time that would make the story better. But yeah, I thought about doing that. I just also reread MedStar Battle Surgeons. I did listen to it on YouTube. There's those AI generated audiobooks that are really crappy. I mean, some people do a good job, putting those things up we appreciate it. But man, there's nothing like sitting down and actually reading a book. Uh, because those AI voices will completely screw up names and locations, and then you're just kind of like, what's going on here? So sitting down and reading the book so much better, and I will get a review for this one pretty soon, probably as soon as I get done with the Black Fleet Crisis reviews. I'll post that one, and another one that I am currently reading, Ambush at Corellia. I posted a short about that. This one, I'm really digging it. I'll say that right now. I'm digging this book, and what my buddy Jeremy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions said, that this is a very important trilogy. This Han Solo trilogy. Well, it's not a Han Solo trilogy. It's the Corellian trilogy. Said it's a pretty important trilogy moving forward. So it's got me pretty hyped. I'm excited. I really would like to get to the New Jedi Order pretty soon, but before I do that, I need to finish off the New Republic, and I know there's a lot of the Young Jedi Knights that I need to read as well. I hear those are good. I hope that's true. No one's lying to me. So Rob D says, it's been a while since I've read a Star Wars Expanded Universe novel. I'm sorry, but I don't love the X-Wing novels like everyone else. I totally get that. And I don't know, how many of those did you read? Did you read all of them? Because I thought that the Rogue Squadron books in the X-Wing series weren't the best. I thought those were boring. The what is it? The other squadron. I can't think of it right this second. Wow. The other squadron book, fantastic. I don't know why I can't think of that name. It's because I'm live. Always happens when I'm live. But yeah, the other squadron books are great. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know. If you know what, yeah, whatever. My brain is malfunctioning hardcore right now. You can see I've got a bookshelf here with a bunch of random things now. I've got the entire Galaxy of Fear books down here. And also all of the YA X-Files books. I love those X-Files books. A lot of fun. I mean, they're not like original stories, the young adult books. They're just novelizations, which is cool. I like novelizations. Haven't read one in a while. And if you guys are subscribers to Paper Movies, sorry, we haven't posted anything in quite a while over there. Cody says, I've been getting into reading the EU over the last couple of months. Actually, I just finished Jedi Twilight, the first book in the Coruscant Nights trilogy, today. Awesome. Cody says, Wraith Squadron. Yes, Wraith Squadron. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. I liked the Wraith Squadron books. For some reason, I wanted to say Alphabet Squadron, but I know that's the canon books, and I know that those were not that good. The second book was decent, but the first and the third were garbage. But hey, we don't talk about new canon anymore over here, do we? I've left it. I've left it for good. And it feels good. It feels good to get caught up on some expanded universe stuff. Rob D says, I've read the first 6 novels of the X-Wing so far: Rogue Squadron, Wedge's Gamble, Krytos Trap, Back to War, Wraith Squadron, and Iron Fist. I enjoyed Wedge's Gamble and Krytos Trap. The rest I found mid. I get it. They're not for everyone. I thought they were going to be really bad. I did not expect to like any of them. So I was kind of surprised that I did find some enjoyment in there. But I like more character-driven things, less action. And I think I said that quite a few times in those X-Wing reviews, that when they were slower or more character-focused, I liked them. When it's all explosions and action-packed, I just can't get into it that much. I don't know why. It's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? But, I also subscribe to a magazine to switch from Star Wars. This is kind of strange. I used to like writing. I was in a writing group, and I was coming up with new stories all the time. We would write stuff. We'd bring it to our little writers group meetings. We'd trade our work, and we'd critique each other's stuff. And then at that job, they had massive layoffs, so everybody kind of got laid off and split out different directions. And that support group for writing ended. And I'm still in touch with one of the guys from it, but we don't. He lives in a different state now, so um, that motivation to keep writing and to keep trading, to critique and all that stuff died over the last decade, almost a decade, not quite. But I've subscribed to Writer's Digest magazine in hopes that it will reignite that desire and drive to write, like to actually sit down and do it, because I still have a bunch of ideas. Just sitting down and doing the writing is such a challenge, especially when I've got other hobbies that I like to do. I like to sit down and do these reviews. I like doing live streams, but I haven't done those in a very long time, and I will get better with that. I plan on doing more this year, and actually doing more of a structured type of a show, kind of like a podcast, sort of a live stream, where I've got some serious topics that I want to discuss and go through those, do some good commentary, questions and answer type thing. Maybe even do some more live reviews. That might be kind of fun. But back in the day, 2020, when I really did a lot of the live streams, there was a lot of fun stuff on those. Going through Amazon, reading the reviews that people left on, like all the 1-star review readings. Those were fun. But I've got a PlayStation 5. That's a new thing in my life. Been playing some games. Spider-Man, pretty fun. And yes, I did get that Star Wars Jedi Survivor game. Don't care about the story. I really don't. I like the gameplay, as I liked the first game that they did. And, it's like the only Star Wars video game out there. I guess they came out with a new one, but I'm not going to do that one. I don't care at all about it. Like a smuggler or something, the female Han Solo. Get out of here with that. I don't care. I just want to be a Jedi and strike down some Imperial troops. So that's what I do. Play that game now, because I already pretty much beat Spider-Man, the story mode. So just occasionally we'll get on and play some Star Wars. Not very much. It's hard to find the time to play the PlayStation, but yeah. I should be reading more instead of playing games, right? Let's see. Cody says, do you have a favorite EU book or series? Well, my favorite book would be Darth Plagueis. And I know a lot of people probably pick that one, but I like it a lot because it does an excellent job tying in things from the expanded universe into the film, The Phantom Menace, which is really cool. Spider-Man was so much fun. It was fun. It is fun. And I check out the PlayStation Store all the time to see what the sales are, and that's how I got Spider-Man. Was like $20, and I was like, oh, sweet. Then the next one, Miles Morales came, $20. I was like, gotta get that. Eventually, I'll get to it, but whenever I see the sales, I'll get it, and then 5 years later, I'll play it. I mean, I'm still playing Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox, so I mean, it's like the coolest game, in my opinion. I think they're supposed to be doing a Grand Theft Auto 6 game coming out pretty soon, which makes me wonder if they're going to do a Red Dead Redemption 3. Like, now that they've got the 6 coming out, they're going to switch over to the Western again. Be cool. See like Model Ts driving around. I think they could do some cool stuff with that. Maybe make it into the 20s and 30s. I'd play that. But yeah, I've been doing a lot more stuff on X. I don't know if you guys are over there on the social media side. I'm actually getting more interaction over there than I have in the past, which is actually quite fun. You're not restricted on what you can say or do over there to an extent. Can't be too crude, but having a lot of fun asking questions. One of the big ones that I asked last week, I think it was what would you do if George Lucas handed Star Wars to you instead of Disney? Like, what would you have done? And a majority of the people said, I would adapt the expanded universe into films or even shows, which, I don't know if I would have done that. I wouldn't turn any of the expanded universe books into movies because we have the books. And then you always run into that, oh, the book was better, they screwed up the story. That's not how I imagined the character to look. That's the only thing that I have an issue with. Rob D says, only a small handful of games make me want a PS5. Hogwarts Legacy, Astrobot, 40K, Space Marine. Yeah, I saw that Hogwarts game was on sale pretty cheap last month. Passed on it. I don't know. I don't really care for it that much. Even though the Harry Potter book series was pretty good, I made it to book 5 before I dropped off for some. I guess I just got fatigued because I went back to back to back on reading those, and I stepped away and never went back to it. Steve Breedlove says Thrawn trilogy for sure. Yeah, I mean, I could see where people want to see that stuff on the screen. It would be cool. I know in some of my book reviews I've said, man, it'd be cool to see this on the screen, but I don't know. Like Darth Plagueis could be turned into a 5-part miniseries and then be done with it instead of always trying to drag things out. Then like let's make the sequel to the book as a show instead of a book. You could get weird with it, but we'll see what happens with the Kathleen. Well, I don't care at this point, but the interest is still what is going to happen to Disney Star Wars with Kathleen Kennedy announcing her departure. Is Dave Filoni going to take Star Wars? I don't like Dave Filoni. I think his vision for Star Wars was awful. And I know people liked the Clone Wars a lot. That's fine. I watched the whole series. There were some things in there that I enjoyed, but overall, not a fan. I got to go with the Tartakovsky. You know what I'm saying. That guy's version of the Clone Wars was cool. Still a little over to the top sometimes, like with Mace Windu against the droid army. A little silly, but still cool. I liked that a lot better than Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. And I struggle with those books, the Clone Wars era books. I mean, some of them are decent. Some of them are just garbage to me. Shatterpoint was an awesome book because it was so different. It was like the Vietnam story of in Star Wars. So if you haven't read that one, go check it out. What I really miss too is the Star Wars magazine. I wish they had an expanded universe magazine. Maybe we should get somebody to fund that, or like we can come together as a group and create a Star Wars Legends magazine. Just call it Legends. Or no, we can't do that. That name's probably, got a copyright thing on it. EU. SWEU. Let's make a magazine. We could do short stories, like fan fiction stuff. People could submit stories and we come together as a fan. That'd be cool. We should do something like that. Who's in charge of the whole EU movement? Let's get somebody to let me know who that is. Someone who has connections. Fine Editions. What's up? The Return of the Jedi. Steve Breedlove says, I came to Star Wars through the D6 TTRPG. Sorry. I'm having trouble reading text lately. It would have done different Rebel Adventures. Rebel Adventures would be neat. If Dave Filoni takes over Star Wars, we'll have more Ahsoka trilogies than the Skywalker saga. That is true. I don't like Ahsoka. I never have. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not because it's a little girl. I thought it was creepy how he, her attire was really revealing when she was young. Because when did she come into Star Wars? Like age 12, 14, something like that. Really revealing clothes. And as she gets older, the more layers she puts on. I thought it was just a weird choice that he made for her clothing. I don't know. I don't like when Star Wars leans towards weird, pervy type things, which we experience in Battle Surgeons. Which I'm going to say, I would bet $100 that Steve Perry, the guy who wrote Shadows of the Empire, is responsible for all that stuff. I don't like it. It makes things awkward and unnecessary in Star Wars. Let's see. Steve Breedlove says, I think Underworld stuff would be cool. Yes. Yeah, because there was supposed to be that TV show, right? Wasn't it like an HBO, supposed to be HBO TV show? They released some footage from that a couple of years ago. I forgot all about that. That would have been cool. I think it took like in the underworld of Coruscant, and there's like Jedi and stormtroopers walking around. Let's see, Allies Land. Probably saying that wrong. I'm sorry. Filoni is good with animation, but he stinks with live action stuff. See, I can't remember if I was. Did he do anything with Mandalorian in season 2? Because that was the last stuff that I watched before I bolted from the Disney stuff. Was Mandalorian season 2. Then I got out of there. Steve says tabletop role playing game. Yeah, that'd be cool. I know there's a comic shop close to me that does a bunch of tabletop games. I need to go check them out sometime, see if they do Star Wars stuff. I think that'd be fun. I'd like to learn how to do those types of games, especially with my kids. Like the boys, they're like all about Star Wars Legos right now, and like they watched all the movies. They're obsessed with the Legos. They keep adding them to their lists of things to get. Or they get their allowance. Like, we got to go get some Legos, and they always get the Star Wars stuff. They're trying to build up their clone armies, which is funny. And the 20th anniversary for Return of the Jedi is coming up. I guess the end of next month. That's crazy. 20 years. I remember going and waiting in line as it was wrapped around the theater before they had like all the reserved seatings. People had their lightsabers dressed up in their robes. It was fun. Like there was a guy that drove by the line and he's like honking his horn and he said something like nerds, and this kid had a lightsaber and he just like points at the car and like raises his saber and like chases the car down the street. It was funny. And everybody's like applauding the kid. So dumb, but yeah, I'm thinking about taking the kids to go see that, but I don't know. I don't know if that's just, is that giving Disney my money and saying, ooh, you're giving Disney money. I want to go see not Return of the Jedi. Did I say Return of the Jedi the first time? I meant Revenge of the Sith. Sorry. Allies Land says Ahsoka is a good character, but she's kind of overstaying her welcome. It seems like she pops up in every project now. Yeah. I mean, like, the whole Clone Wars basically turned into the Ahsoka show at the end, didn't it? With her like on the run and just that's like everything focused on Ahsoka. Cody, I'll always have a soft spot for Filoni's Clone Wars. It's what actually got me into Star Wars, but definitely see the flaws, wasted potential, and as I get older. I'm 23 now. Yeah, I mean, tastes change too. And if that's the thing that pulled you into Star Wars, of course you're going to have an attachment to it, you know. It's like Ghostbusters for me. Ghostbusters is always going to be my favorite movie. The sequel, not that great. Ghostbusters 2, not that great, but still, I have to say it's one of my favorite movies, just because it's part of the thing, you know. Which on that subject, I kind of lump things together when people say, "What's your top 3 movies?" I'll say, you know, Dragon Slayer, Ghostbusters, and Star Wars. Like, which Star Wars? The original trilogy, like as a single thing, like the franchise of it is what I would put at 3. I can't pick just one of the Star Wars movies. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? If it's a trilogy, you got to lump them together. That counts as one, in my opinion. Rob D says Dave Filoni in charge of Star Wars. Sabine Wren from Rebels and Ahsoka gets literally beheaded by a lightsaber and survives to get it reattached. What? Really? See? It's just modern storytelling. No one really dies. No one really dies. Strange stuff. It's like they had a Captain America movie came out. And it bombed, right? Yeah, I don't really pay attention to what happens anymore. Like I've tuned out the world, and I've got my own little world that involves just the small things that I want to look into. Like this past year, 2024, like the end of 23 and 24, and even up to today, like I watched the series of the X-Files for the first time. Loved the series, but the last 2 seasons, 10 and 11, with the modern day stuff like 2016 and 18, it got weak, and it's like it was fine before that. So if I wanted to disconnect that from the canon of the X-Files, I can. It's so different. They released a new book by Claudia Gray, who was supposed to be the greatest Star Wars author in the Disney canon era. She's not. I don't know what happened to her, but she's lost it, man. That X-Files book was not good. But anyway, those are the types of things that I'm really doing. I'm not focused on new stuff. It's, what did I miss? The X-Files. Next up, Xena the Warrior Princess. And guess what? They have books. They have like an expanded universe for Xena, and I'm going to get into that. My wife says that was like her favorite show as a kid, so we're going to revisit that, and I'm going to read the books, and like it or not, I'm going to review them. Oh man. Fine Editions says Star Wars 1 through 6 to George is one movie. Yes, I agree. Steve Breedlove, yeah, the lack of danger really takes you out of it. Yeah, and that's why I have a problem too with a lot of the books. Sometimes it's like it depends on the author, really. Like, can they make things seem like people are really in danger? Like, we know that Luke or Leia or some of these characters from earlier on are not gonna die, so they've got to be really creative and put something else at stake. That's the kind of stuff I like. It's like we could talk about Luke all day, being like, oh, he's in Waru, he's lost or whatever. It's like, he's not gonna die. He's not gonna die. Waru isn't gonna get Luke. And just, I hate that kind of stuff. Favorite non-EU book or series? Well, I don't know if I could, because I really haven't stuck to another franchise. Like I said, I gave up on Harry Potter at book 5. Not really gave up, just haven't continued it. I haven't continued reading the series. That was good, but can I say Grady Hendrix books? His books really aren't horror as much as they are thriller, like creepy thriller. None of them really tie together, but everything that he writes, I read. There's one book that I haven't read. It was like his first one. I haven't read that one yet, but every book that he's released since, I either got advanced copies for or like went out and got them day one. So I have to say Grady Hendrix books, like his line of novels, if that counts. But the X-Files books too are great. They're not excellent. When they start getting like into these expanded things in other franchises, they use language, okay? And it's like the X-Files was a clean show. Yeah, they had some things that might have been like, "Ooh, gotta close my eyes" when I was, when you're a kid. But reading the books, some of the authors would drop like the F word, and you're like, they didn't talk like this in the show. I want it to be like the show, not just because we're not on TV. We could say all the words they can't say on TV. It just doesn't feel like it's the same universe, if that makes sense. What just happened? Something's popping up on the screen there. I didn't know that could do that. Did I hit that? Sorry. I could have been doing that the whole time. Haven't really used this platform that much. Sorry, guys. Got to go back and catch up to what you guys are saying here. Silver Century says, Clone Wars was a great opportunity to finally understand the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin in more detail, but Ahsoka was shoehorned in the story. That is why I can't stand the series. Yeah. Steve says, that's why Andor is so good. Basically, only a couple of characters have plot armor, and started with Bix's fiance getting killed. There is a character in the book Catalyst that was really good, and his name escapes me now, but I used to make a big deal out of it. He shows up. He was a good character, and then he disappears. Hobbit, right? Hobbit? Something like that. I wonder if he'll make an appearance in the Andor show. Rob D. Claudia Gray, it turns out, only has one good Star Wars novel, Lost Stars. Yeah. I mean, Master and Apprentice was okay. I mean, I remember like getting irritated with that book in the beginning of it, and then halfway it got better. Steve, favorite books? I liked Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Boba Fett was like very sophisticated. Listening to classical music of different species. I don't hate the character we got, but I wish we hadn't. You need to read the Tales of the Bounty Hunters. See, Rob says to Steve, that one thing I definitely love about Andor, when a character is blasted, they die. There's no dramatic death scene. The character does not manage to survive. Yeah. See, are they introducing like graphic content yet? Or like if someone gets shot, do they like bleed, or do like their head get blown off, their arm fall off, or anything like that? Just to kind of make those deaths more finalized. Cody says EU books mattered because it actually continued and impacted the story, but Disney Star Wars books don't seem to matter as much because they always seem to be retconned by a new show or movie. Yeah, that's it. They could easily screw up because it seems like they don't really know which direction they want to go. It's like they have certain time slots reserved, and they don't really know how to connect them. Has Obit. It just hit me. That's the character I was talking about from Catalyst that I always wanted more of. Has Obit. Hopefully he'll show up in Andor for you guys, and you can enjoy him as much as I did. Sorry, but weird things hit me. Yeah, the Disney Star Wars books. See, that's the thing about the like retconning things. They did that when they released the High Republic in the Alphabet Squadron trilogy, written by Alexander Freed, who I guess he has a new book coming out, or it did come out this week. It's either coming out next week or it came out this week. Some, I guess, Republic thing. I haven't paid attention to it because I really have checked out of it. Alexander Freed was an excellent author, but they said in that Alphabet Squadron trilogy that 200 years ago, there was a different planet where all of the galactic political affairs took place. Well, 2 years later, a year later, they came out with the High Republic, which took place 200 years before the events of Episode 1. Well, everything took place on Coruscant. Like the planet that they established, like the lore was established, and they completely wiped it off the table. That irritated me because I read the first book of the High Republic and I thought, oh yeah, not bad. I liked it. I was excited about it. And then things went the way they did, and I was like, I'm out. Let's see, fine editions. I am reading the Episode 3 novel, The Rise of Vader, and I am thinking of taking a break from Star Wars. Have you read the Wheel of Time books? I'm thinking of doing those next. I have read a few of the Wheel of Time books. I finished recently book 5, Fires from Heaven, Fires of Heaven, Fires from Heaven, one of those. I just finished that one, which I started it years ago, like 2013, 2014 maybe. And then I took a break because I got so involved with Star Wars. That's when I just started to do all of the reviews. And then I was like halfway through that book and picked it up, I think in December. I was like, I've got to finish this. And I did. So I also pulled out the 6th book and thought, maybe I'll do this one. I'll put a couple more Star Wars books under the belt and start reading this and just like trade the book out. I'll read a chapter in this book, then I'll pick up the Star Wars because I don't want to fall behind on Star Wars again. I'm ready to get to the new Jedi Order stuff. I just can't. I'd like to do it before I'm 50. You know what I mean? So that gives me 10 years. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the awkward silence. But have you read the Jurassic Park novel? No, I have not. I have it, though, right behind me. I also have the Wheel of Time, the Eye of the World, like a special edition hardcover. Let me go get it for you. I have all of the paperbacks, but yeah, I got this. There was a one of those little library things at my workplace. It's like, oh, take one, leave one, trade one, and I traded a book to grab this one. So, yeah, 30th anniversary edition. How cool is that? Pretty big. Has a bookmark too. But yeah, I thought I'm gonna throw a bunch of random stuff on the shelf behind me. A little bit of everything that I like. But I have the Jurassic Park back there too. I should have said I got that and the Congo novel, which I believe are written by the same person. I really enjoyed that movie when I was a kid. Oh, Cody's also thinking about reading The Wheel of Time. Looks interesting. Yeah, I mean, I heard that the series on Amazon was complete garbage, which I expected. I remember I looked up the soundtrack because I love soundtracks, and if the good music is good, I'm going to buy the soundtrack. Well, I previewed the music and was very disappointed. So I did not get the soundtrack to The Wheel of Time because it'd be cool to have that playing in the background. But nope, didn't get it. Let's see. Sorry, I don't know why these things keep popping up all of a sudden. Yeah, The Wheel of Time is really popular, the book series, though. A friend of mine is the one that got me into it, and for he, I'm like reading the first book, and he told me like a major spoiler, and I thought surely I'm gonna forget about that by the time that thing happens. Every time I picked up the book, I thought about it, which I don't really have that problem now. When someone tells me something about Star Wars that happens later on down the line, I'm like, it's a surprise when I get to it, which is great. I really try to force that stuff out. I remember going to like a Barnes and Noble, and the guy we were talking in the Star Wars section, and he just starts telling me about things that happen in like the new Jedi Order, which I'm excited about. He starts telling me a bunch of spoilers, and I'm like, stop telling me these things. You're gonna ruin everything. Let's see. I haven't read it, but I do have it. So you're talking about the Wheel of Time there. Rob D says, "I'll just put these things up here. We'll start doing that, and let's. I'm gonna blow this up so I could actually see a little bit better. I read the first High Republic novel too. Overall I enjoyed it because I enjoy Charles Soule writing. He's a Star Wars comics. Star Wars comics are good. I never read any of his comics. I gave up on the Star Wars comics, like the Disney era stuff, a long time ago. I did collect quite a few of them during their release, and I dropped off. It was just so hard to get everything. Allies Land or Al's Land. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Free's new book is the start of a new trilogy by 3 authors told through Mon Mothma during the Empire before the Rebellion. I wonder how that'll go. I wonder if they decided how they would see. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about 3 different authors or 3 writers telling a story. I mean, when the whole love it or hate it, the Star Wars trilogy, the sequels, like I had high hopes, but that was the first time I was so disappointed in the theater after the Rise of Skywalker. Even the Last Jedi, I remember just sitting there after the credits rolled, and my wife's like, "You ready?" And I'm just like, my head's down. I'm like, I don't think I liked it, and I never thought that would happen with the Star Wars thing. And so that's why I'm thinking the three authors, did they sit down and actually come up with the plot, the idea, where it was going to start, what the middle was going to be, and how it would end? And did they agree? Did they throw each other the ideas and say, yeah, you should do that, and take each other's stuff, or just pass the baton. Like, I did it. Now it's your turn. Surprise us. I don't like that kind of thing. New Jedi Fine Edition says New Jedi Order is great so far. I am on book 7. Really good. Awesome. Now, do you have the New Jedi Order? Do you read paperbacks, or do you have them all in hardcover? Alice, I'm actually looking forward to get to it eventually because the politics during the Empire is really interesting, and Star Wars politics in general interests me. Yeah, see, I like the Star Wars politics too. And some people like to do the argument, and it's like both sides. I've noticed on X, it's funny. It's funny that these people still fight about this stuff. I'm the kind of guy that'll be like, hey, I read the Star Wars canon, and then I also read Star Wars Expanded Universe. I quit the Star Wars canon because I didn't like the direction. I understand people still like it. That's their thing. Whatever. I'm not going to fight you on it, though. You know what I mean? And people want to fight each other. Someone posted a comment on one of my older reviews. It was a High Republic book review, and they're like, "You're not a shill, are you?" And I'm like, "No, no. I've bashed quite a few of the books in my time." But during that time, you know, when the Star Wars stuff was coming out, all the new stuff, it was exciting. You know, I accomplished things that I never thought that I would accomplish, like reading a book. I hated reading before Star Wars, and they got me reading and reviewing and getting a little snippet published on the back of one of their books, which is really cool. I'm never going to forget that. Let's see. Yeah, politics. That's why I like not Cessa's Deception. That's the one I just recently read, Cloak of Deception. That book, I like that. It was kind of a political book. Fine Edition says, nice book, talking about the Wheel of Time. See, I actually do have one canon book back there on the shelf because it's a Inkstone edition, so it's got the cool page color, I think, art gilding on the side. It's what is that book? Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah S. Dawson. I read that one. I thought it was okay. It gave me a better, like, I never liked the idea of Inquisitors. I thought that was dumb, but that book was the thing that, like, convinced me, okay, it works. So, yeah, and it's, like, signed by the author. It's numbered. They only made 500 copies, I believe. I'm really angry. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed that I did not get Kenobi when they released that. But they had 3 EU books come out. Of course, the awful one, Into the Void. You got Darth Plagueis. So 4 total. Then they had Kenobi, which I failed to get. And then the other one is, where is it? Somewhere back here. I thought maybe it's not up there. Death Troopers. Got that one. Did anybody here have any of these Inkstone editions? They're from England. Let's see. What do you think about James Mangold's approach on his upcoming Star Wars movie, which has no ties to existing canon? Allow him more creative freedom with the series? I honestly don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, Silver. I was unaware that James Mangold would be coming up with a Star Wars movie. Is that the one that's always been the Rey trilogy? Is that what that's about? Allies Land started reading the first Wheel of Time book, but checked out after 40 pages because I really wasn't ready to be committed to such a huge series when I have other books I want to read. Yeah, I totally get that. It's intimidating to open up a book and it's got 1,000 pages, and you're thinking, I could probably read 4 Star Wars books before this one. As it, the same time it takes to read this one. So, Corban Hideout, what's up, man? Glad to catch a live. my go-to book channel. I love novels, but I'm a sucker for comic books. You're a legend, my man. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. A legend. uh, you like the hat, Tuscan Reader? I thought about trying to rename my channel Tuscan Reader because I like that so much. I do have another channel called Tuscan Reader. It's supposed to be my podcasting channel. I haven't posted anything over there in probably a year. I need to fix that and make it a backup channel. It's just pure expanded universe. I gotta start that up again. I want to do more material on different places because if they ever decided to shut down the Geeks Attic for some reason, I want to have a backup place. Tuscan Reader would be a great one. Cody says he's talking to, or she, I don't know. Cody, it goes both ways, but whatever. Are you a dude? Sorry. Let's see, because my wife has a friend. Her name is Cody. And I know dudes named Cody. Final Edition says, have you seen the Shrek 5 trailer? No, I have not. I didn't even know there were 4 Trek movies. I thought there were 2. Are the other ones like direct to DVD? See, here I have like a channel that's supposed to be talking like Star Wars, pop culture, and I don't know anything about pop culture anymore. Cody says, have you read Sphere by Michael Crichton? Really fun psychological science fiction book. I have not. Now, there was a book that I read, a different type of. I really don't read sci-fi very much. There was one sci-fi thriller that I read a couple of years ago. I can't remember who the author was. It might have been Michael Crichton. Crichton. Sorry. I don't know who the author was. It was called Dark Matter. It's a fine book. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Do you read Legends comics? I do not. I think I have some. I have some in a box, like a couple single issues and a few trades. I always told myself that when I finish the Star Wars Expanded Universe novels, then I'll go back and read the comics. Of course, I do have people telling me like, "Oh no, you need to start reading the comics now." If I did, I'd have to go digital. I just don't have the space for all of the physical material. I mean, it'd be cool to have them all, but I don't know. There's so much material. I feel like I'm missing out on so much because I'm not reading the comics. And just like I said it earlier about going back and rereading some of the books that I didn't like through the first time, is I feel that if I read the comics and then reread some of those books too, or just even some that I did enjoy, they would probably be so much better because there's material. Like, let's say the one that I can really think of right now is Knight Errant. I thought even Revan, that book, I don't know if that has comics or is it just a video game for Revan. Somebody let me know. I feel like that needed some supporting material to make it a better story. So I think the ending of Revan was the one that I did not like. But Knight Errant, I know that has a comic book, and I feel like if I read the comic, then the book would have been better. I mean, the book had some cool concepts in it, but not the best story. Steve says, I was thinking I might ask my library to get some newer Star Wars books so I don't have to buy them, especially like High Republic stuff, and I want to read the Kira Crimson Dawn graphic novels. Libraries, you could request stuff from there, and they should be able to get it. Usually they would. Also, do you have the Libby, I think is the library app? I know you can also request books through that, and most of the time the libraries will get it, especially if it's newer stuff. Cody says, gotta go, man. Have a great night. Looking forward to your Shield of Lies review. Thank you, Cody. You're probably gone by now, but thanks for stopping in and participating. It's fun. Fine editions. New Jedi Order has like 20 authors. Yeah. I get it when it's like a series. When it's a trilogy, though, like a smaller story, because 20 authors, that's what, that'll be like 20 books, right? or I think some of them paired up. Maybe I don't know. I don't know all this stuff, but I get that. The smaller story, like let's really make sure that it's tight and it works. Um, but I don't know. Maybe I don't make much sense. Truth. Does anyone here read comics? I'm hoping this Legacy of Vader comic run is good. I hate the sequels, but I think fleshing out Kylo Ren is a good idea. See, and that's something that they still don't really have much on Kylo Ren. Did the whole, what were those guys? The Knights of Ren. Did they ever explore those? I thought they really mistreated or dropped the ball on that situation. The Knights of Ren. It sounded cool. Who was Ren? That would have been neat if there was like a guy that they were following called Ren, and they were the Knights of it, or like a place, a thing that they're trying to protect. They're the Knights of it. I don't know if they ever really explained any of that stuff. So, Scott Johnson, hello there. I have a few hard and few paper. There are audiobooks that are easier for me to get into. I have a 30-minute drive to work. Oh yeah. If there's an audiobook available, I'm going to listen to it. I do always keep the physical copy near me. Like if I'm at home I read physical copies. If I'm at work, if I'm driving somewhere, like an extended drive, I'm going to be listening to the audiobook. But if I'm listening to it at work and I'm like, okay, I'm home now and I want to read a little bit, I'm going to like find where I left off and go read it physically. It feels better to read it physically. And sometimes these audiobooks with Star Wars get overwhelming with all of the action and noise and stuff, and sometimes it drives me crazy. Steve says to Truth, I agree that the character exists, so we might as well have more story to flesh him out. Yeah. Final Edition says, Scott! Brady! Rob D, I am not a huge fan of Inquisitors either. I like Vader having an apprentice, though, because Sith always took an apprentice despite having a master, and Vader was getting older at that time. I agree. And that's where we get, what is it? Force Unleashed, right? Fine Edition says, those inkstones look like a fine addition to your collection. Thank you. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them. I like that you take the dust jacket off. There's like art on the inside. Like, let me get one in case anybody hasn't seen these. So here's Death Troopers. Sorry for the glare. It's got the Legends cover. I know some people like them, some people hate them, but it's whatever. I also have the hardcover from the EU and the paperback. So these books come with dust jacket protectors. Let's take the dust jacket off real quick. Check this out. See that? Isn't that cool? It looks white on the camera, I think. It's actually blue. And this copy that I have here is number 411. Pretty cool. It says you can request, like, what number do you want if we have it? I always try to order copy 66. Never get it. I just think it'd be funny. Like, I want book number 66 because of order 66. Duh. But I like those. I think they're really cool printing. I know some people, I shared it on social media and people were like, that's stupid. It's like, you're stupid. Where am I? Sorry. James Mangold is supposed to direct a Star Wars movie that's set 25,000 years before The Phantom Menace. He says that it's not interesting to be handcuffed by lore. Wow. Yeah, they're going pretty far back. That's definitely like Old Republic era type stuff. Maybe even before the Republic. I don't know. I'm not very smart when it comes to the timeline, but Yeah, I have some cool ideas about Before the Republic. There's visions that I have of how the Jedi Order could get started. I would like to write a little fan fiction type thing. That might be kind of fun to do sometime. I mentioned it earlier before more people showed up. I don't know how many people are on here, like 5. That'd be cool if there was a Star Wars EU magazine where all of the fandom kind of like help publish it, and they can submit little short stories. Maybe there's like allotted spaces, gaps between things that they could write and submit, and other people like smarter than me, people that really know the lore, kind of read through it, make sure that things line up good, and um, we could put it in a magazine and ship it out to everyone who buys it. Corbett says Knights of the Old Republic comics were great. Yeah, I've heard that one specifically. The old stuff is pretty solid, and I'm sure going back and reading those, I'd get a lot more enjoyment out of some of those novels too, and that take place in that era. There are no comics centered around Revan and Malak. The characters only briefly appear in flashbacks of the Zane Carrick KOTOR comics. Okay. Truth, better not be lying to me. The comics are where it's at, man. Please consider picking it up, especially Dark Horse stuff. There are some great videos online familiarizing people on reading, and it went away. Reading on the reading orders. Yes, that's always the important thing too. You gotta know where things line up, and it can get messy pretty quick. Revan is a sequel to the KOTOR and the prequel to SWTOR. The KOTOR comics are a loose prequel. I think I'm funny. I'm not. The KOTOR comics are a loose prequel to the KOTOR game. Okay. Let's see. Small Time Republic. It says Knights of Ren sounds better than Knights of Stimpy. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Knights of Stimpy. Oh, that's good. Ren and Stimpy. Alice Land said, thoughts on the upcoming Sean Levy Star Wars movie that's set 5 to 6 years after The Rise of Skywalker, starring Ryan Gosling. How many Star Wars? So they've announced more Star Wars movies. Are these things actually happening this time? Remember, like 3 years ago, they said they had all these movies coming out, and like nothing happened. But that's what happens, right? But no, I haven't heard anything about that. All I saw people talking about was like, oh, there's going to be a Rey trilogy. So we've got this coming up 5 to 6 years after The Rise of Skywalker, and then we've got something taking place 25,000 years ago. I won't see them. I've cut them out of my life. But I'm thinking going to see that 20-year anniversary for the Revenge of the Sith. Is anybody else going to do that? Are you guys going to go see Revenge of the Sith and the 20-year anniversary? I mean, I went and saw the episode 1, The Phantom Menace, when it re-released in 3D, and there was only one other person in the theater. I was there first. I was like, man, nobody's coming in this movie. And then that person came in. They sat right next to me with like a big bowl of nachos. So awkward. I did move. I got up, like went to the bathroom, came in, and then like went up 2 rows. It's like, why you got to go into an empty theater and sit right next to the person? These weren't when the seats were all big and reclining and stuff. This was those tight movie theater seats, and it was just so awkward. It looks reverse on camera. Everything does? Uh-oh. How about now? Is that better? How did I not notice that? Let's see here. Fine Edition says the Knights of Ren get expanded in the Kylo Ren comics, and there is a guy named Kylo. Oh, no, there's a guy named Ren. Kylo kills him. Also, there's a Disney version of Shadows of the Empire with Han's ex from Solo, and she steals Han from Boba, and there's a war over Han Solo.
What? Wow. I mean, I guess that's cool if you're into that sort of thing. I remember, wasn't it like Sana Solo, something like that? The his wife, his supposed to be his wife, but wasn't his real wife, type of a thing. They like trying to scam things or something. I don't know. It's been a long time. Small time. As of now, the Mando movie in 20. So there's another one, a Mando movie in 2026 is definitely happening, and then Sean Levy's probably after that. Everything else is up in the air. Okay, that's funny. So I don't know why it's funny. It's funny though. I have doubts there's ever going to be another Star Wars movie. I mean, if they do it, I mean, it could just be direct to streaming. I don't know. It seems like a lot of these things that are being released in theaters aren't doing too well. I think people are just kind of tired of it. Like that Captain America, especially when the actor comes out a day before the release and is like, Captain America doesn't really represent America. Captain America doesn't represent America. That was dumb. That might have hurt some of their box office. It's got much better, and the sound also improved as a bonus. Nice. Whatever you did, it worked. Cool. Thanks for telling me that. Land. If you told me a Mando movie was coming out after Mando Season 2, I would have been watching day one, but after Mando Season 3, I'm really not hyped for it anymore. Yeah. Fine additions. There is a Rey Solo movie, episode 10 through 12, Mando movie, Dave Filoni movie, Dawn of the Jedi movie, the Ryan Gosling movie. Wow. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with Scott there. I don't know if they'll ever do it in theaters. If they do, it'll have to be another 10 years, right? Because I know the Rise of Skywalker probably did pretty good in theaters, right? I can't remember the box office numbers, but just everything since, like especially with the Marvel stuff. I stopped watching the Marvel movies after the Endgame. I was like, that's a great stopping point. They kept making them, and from what I've seen, like the numbers are just kind of disappointing. What's your favorite Star Wars novel? Someone asked this one earlier. It's got to be Darth Plagueis. I like that one a lot. It's big. It's got a lot of good, juicy Sith things in there. I still have a love for Death Troopers just because that was like the first book that I had read in the expanded universe. I thought it was a fun read. It was different, and I didn't know what to expect whenever I first got it because I just went and picked a random book off the shelf after George sold to Disney, and I was like, oh man, I want to see what the original idea was for, things that took place in the George Lucas universe. And that was the first thing I read. And then now I've got all of the EU in hardcover and paperback. And then of course, like just the random things, some of those essential legends. It really, the Star Wars, the expanded universe did change my life for real. The books were stupid in my opinion before I read a Star Wars book. And I was reading The Wheel of Time. I started book 1 and 2 before I read Star Wars, but it took me so long to get through them because I was like, I should be reading books and I should be enjoying it, and I just wasn't. Then I read the Star Wars book, another Star Wars book, another Star Wars book, and then read more of The Wheel of Time. And I was like, yeah, actually these are fun. Yeah, I liked these. So it took me a very long time to get finished with the first 5 books of those Wheel of Times, but I enjoy them now a lot more than I did when I first started. So, let's see. I'm trying to think of what my other Star Wars, like if there was like a top 5 Star Wars books, what they would be. That sounds like a good video idea that I should do. Top 5 Star Wars Expanded Universe books. I mean, there were some books in the Star Wars canon that I really truly did enjoy, and I could still enjoy those. They could be my like other canon, the Disney canon that I liked. Could have just been Rogue One era stuff. I liked the Han Solo stuff. I liked those books that came out along with that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that I did not like, though. The Star Wars canon. I have a TikTok account, and I posted a review over there. It got ripped to shreds by the left-leaning side of Star Wars fandom. They did not like my review, and yeah, they were mean. They were even tagging the author. It's like, who does that? I didn't like it. You don't have to like contact the publisher and the author and say, this person gave your book a bad review. He's an idiot. People are weird. People are weird, but you know what? Whatever. I think they are working on a Lando movie too. Really. I'm surprised that they haven't done that one already. They should have done that. Should have been the sequel to Solo instead of Solo 2. Remember when that was like, make Solo 2 happen? They should have just done the sequel to that. Could have been Lando. Show a little bit more of like their friendship, because they were supposed to be friends, right? And we didn't really get that in the Solo movie. Rob D says Star Wars projects that I think are definitely dead: A Droid Story and Rangers of the New Republic. Yeah, that's when I took my exit. Right, it was Rangers of the New Republic. When they fired that Gina Carano, I unsubscribed and I never went back, except the books. There were 2 books that I read since I unsubscribed and like stopped watching anything that came out. What was it? The Rise of the Red Blade is one book that I read, and The Living Force by John Jackson Miller. Those are the only 2 books that I read after I quit Star Wars canon, which was, Mando season 2. But I was looking forward to that Rangers of the Republic thing. I think Mando and Baby Yoda will most likely come out. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I've been hearing that, like Grogu, right? Isn't that the name? That's a good one. I need to read it again. Yeah, you should definitely read Plagueis again, if that's the one that you're talking about. Man, Wheel of Time. I was thinking of reading that series recently. See, it's funny. We were talking earlier in the chat. You might not have been here, but people have been talking about the Wheel of Time and how they're going to be wanting to read that one. We should start a Wheel of Time book club. What books do you currently have on the to be read? Oh, man. Well, of course, there's MedStar 2. What is it? Jedi Healer. That's on the to be read. I wish I had my iPad with me here, because I don't have anything. Well, I'm trying to think of what I want to read. I've got. There is one back here. This is on my list. A friend sent this out. They Never Came Home. It's written by the author Lois Duncan, who wrote I Know What You Did Last Summer. And, of course, that movie, I Know What You Did Last Summer, I guess came from that book. But someone sent this to me, and I'm going to read this one. So that, MedStar 2, Jedi Healer. I've got Yoda Dark Rendezvous on my list. And from there, I don't know. Maybe a novelization or 2, because I need to do another podcast episode for Paper Movies. So I need to read a novelization. Maybe a little X-Files novelization, because they've got a lot of those, like YA and young reader. So it might be quick to get through, but I just really want to push through the expanded universe this year, get a lot of that stuff done. And I recently read, turn around to the bookshelf again. I did not review this one. I don't know. I probably should, but Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, is a good book. Someone asked like what my other like favorite series would be outside of the EU, and I really don't know. I couldn't pick anything that's a series, but like everything Grady Hendrix has put out there, I really enjoyed. So, I mean, if you like the thriller, kind of spooky sometimes books, Grady Hendrix is definitely the way to go. Especially My Best Friend's Exorcism, and the other one I really liked is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Those were excellent reads. The guy really knows how to write characters. If he wrote a Star Wars book, I would pick that up. All of his characters, like his main characters in every one of his books, are female. The dude knows how to write. I'm telling you, if you haven't read anything that he's put out there, go do it. Even before that one, that's his newest book that came out a month, 2 months ago. Might have been in January. I can't remember. But the one before that was How to Sell a Haunted House. I also read that one recently too. So I kind of put that one off a little bit on reading it, but it was fantastic. Meanies. The world are you talking about? To be fair, I liked Solo in theater, although I have no desire to watch it again because there's no real substance to it. Yeah. I still have a movie theater poster for Solo. Like not the theater poster, but like one of those things that they handed out. It's in my garage. I just can't, for some reason, I can't get rid of it. I just like lay it flat on a shelf and just put stuff on top of it. I didn't know why you have a TikTok. Did you delete it or is it still up? It's up. I actually posted a video. I was on TikTok. Then I thought this just really isn't going anywhere because I recycled a lot of my videos from YouTube. I just trimmed them up, threw them on TikTok. Didn't really do much like original content, just kind of like my own stuff recycled. I mean, there are some things there that were original, but I did something completely different than what I had ever done before. But I was gone for 6 months. Then I came back, made this video. My wife was like, I have a video idea that you have to do. And so then I was like, okay. I was like working from home that day, got off the clock, went and started filming the video, posted it. It was like a little song, Half Man, Half Horse. It's also here on YouTube. You can find it there. I posted it on TikTok first, and then a couple of days later, I posted it to YouTube. But yeah, it's like my most viewed video of all time. It was like 130,000 views. The band, like a lot of people made comments, and there were some great comments on that video too. So you should go check it out. Half Man, Half Horse. It was so stupid, but then I posted like 1 or 2 videos since that didn't really go anywhere. So yeah, if you want to go take a look, you can. It's the Geek Static. Like everything that I do is like always the Geek Static for some reason. Rob D says, Matthew, you're white, male, and bearded. Oh, I almost thought that said retarded. You're white, male, and bearded. Twitter of that name would have ripped you to shreds, even if you had only posted a picture of yourself. Yeah. Twitter at that time was an awful place. Now it's great. You can post whatever you want. People just, fight about everything. So, there's some people on there that are Mark Hamill. I don't want to get too political, even though I've got the flag right here. Mark Hamill was over there, and he's not anymore. He got mean, man. Like when this don't meet your heroes, like don't follow them on social media either, because they could be jerks, man. Really disappointed in him as a person. I mean, just stop. A lot of these people really should just focus on their art. I know that because they have the voice, they want, politicians want them to like, hey, steer people our direction. But he just got brutal, and then I guess he was on stage somewhere like a week or two ago, and his pants fell down. Ham Solo, hey Ham, I love that. Corban Hideout says, "What books could I read to familiarize myself with Star Wars?" It moved too fast. Star Wars Gods. I only know of Mortis slightly, but assume there has to be physical manifestations of their gods if they have any. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about that. I thought it was just the Force. And that's like they're kind of like, I did a video, a longer video, kind of comparing Christianity and Star Wars. And with the Force, I tied that one is like the Holy Spirit type of thing. I did a lot of work putting that video together. Should do more stuff like that. Let's see, monthly or quarterly TBR videos would be fun to watch. Okay, I will definitely. I'll do that because I'm always thinking of like I gotta come up with some content. I wanted to see. That's the problem I have. I'm like I want to film something and then I don't know what to film. I've got a list of things too, and I don't know. Sometimes I get myself psyched out. My computer's been having a lot of issues lately. I took it to the Mac store, and they said your computer is the slowest one available from 2019. You need to stay at a lower level of operating system. So the higher updates, the new recent updates, were really slowing it down a lot. So since my going into the Apple store and getting it, leaving it there overnight, they did a whole wipe and fixed it up for me. It's been going pretty smooth. So, that sucks, but I'm glad my computer's finally working better. Now I can film more things because I would sit down to. I was like, where was I going with that? I'd sit down to do something, and my computer would take so long to do anything that I just would give up and be like, all right, it's already 11:30. I'm going to go to bed, and didn't accomplish anything. So there's part of the reason why a lot of my content was kind of not there really for a period of time. But yeah, I'll start doing those like quarterly. Quarterly sounds good because I'm kind of a slow reader. I think that paper that I threw away at the beginning of recording had a list of books to talk about that I was going to read that I had like planned out anyway. But I don't think I will ever got on Matt Wilkins' level of reading. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm reading that weird in my head. I don't think I ever got on Matt Wilkins' level of reading the EU, but I would at least like to read all the adult novels at some point. Yeah. Yeah. All the adult stuff is what I would really like to focus on. There's a lot of kid stuff. Like I've got the whole Galaxy of Fear right there. I know those would be quick, easy reads, but I'd rather put the energy to the adult novels first. And I did do a few reviews over on the Tuscan Reader for the Jedi Quest. The first 4 books were available in audio. That's how I absorbed those stories, was audio, and then reviewed them. And then they stopped doing those audio. So I was like, well, I don't have time to read those and what I would like to read. So got to make those sacrifices somewhere, you know? Rob says to Corban Hideout, the absolute closest thing is Fate of the Jedi with Abeloth. The Mortis gods are really not explored in the books. Neat names. Me and my piano. I like that. As far as I know, the Mortis gods are only in the Clone Wars anime. Clone Wars anime. Let's see. Rob D says, Matthew, you need to move on from Windows 98 and dial up internet connection. Yeah. Well, it's stupid is that I got this computer in 2019, like right before everything went down in 2020, you know. I'm never buying a Mac, any like computer from Amazon. That's where I got it. I'm pretty sure I did not like order the lowest of the low computers. Like that would have been really stupid. Because I had a Mac before this one from let's see 2007, and it worked all the way up until 2019. So that lasted a long time. I'm thinking like this one, like and it did the software updates just fine, all the way up to it maxed out. And this thing has just been sucking pretty bad. And next time I'm gonna have to get the best of the best, but that'll be like $30,000. So Mac, Apple. I don't know why I'm so attached to them. Corban Hideout. I'll go check that video after this live. Also, fills my heart to see the Bible videos you do. Class act. Well, thank you. Yeah, I would like to do a lot more. I have my closet is full of Bibles, like study Bibles, different versions of the Bible. I like to have a variety of different books to work with, and when I'm doing some research on some things, it's nice to have different perspectives, different points of views from all these different commentary Bibles, and find out what people are saying and what they're doing. But yeah, there's a Bible right here. It's funny is I got that at a used bookstore, and it's like from a local store, like a local school here. And I was like, that's funny. That's a King James. It was actually a Gideon Bible that was handed out to a school library. Me and my piano. Do you think you'll make it to the next, a more civilized age? I should talk to Matt about that. Just lately, things have been, busy and hectic. I'm trying to remodel my our master bathroom, and I'm not that good at handy stuff, and I'm really slow at it. So, coming up here to do this, I was like, I need to go film. She's like, fine, just go film. But yeah, I need to schedule it out with Matt and definitely do that, because that would be a lot of fun. It's been a while since I talked to him. Do you have any reading goals for this year? My current goal is to read 20 books this year. Read the entire Witcher and read all the stuff to get to Vector Prime so I can start New Jedi Order in 2026. I do have a goal, and I'm just going to go right over to Goodreads. I maybe, if I can access it from the computer here. And I don't know what I just did. What did I just do? Are you guys still there? Yeah, there we are. That was weird. I gotta minimize the screen. Sorry. Such a great live, right? Goodreads. I think it's 50. Sign in. Sorry, guys. If you guys are on Goodreads and we're not following each other, we should. And I am signing in. I post a lot of my reviews over there too when I get done reading. Not all the time, but most of the time. Let's see. Okay, I'm logged in now. So far this year, I have 12 books. And so I was wrong. There was one other Star Wars book that I did read. I completely forgot about that. I listened to the audiobook of that Jedi Battle Scars because I'm playing the game Jedi Survivor, and I was like, maybe I should listen to the audiobook and see if there's anything important. That's when I realized, like, I'm not going to pay attention to the story in the video game. That book, I'm going to review that book. I'm going to review that book. It'll just, should I review Jedi Battle Scars in like next week? Maybe it's a short. I don't know. It sucked. It sucked hard. So for some reason, it shows that I've read 12 books this year out of 50. I'll just read these out. 1984, How to Sell a Haunted House. Some of these books are on here twice. That makes no sense. 1984, How to Sell a Haunted House, MedStar, Fires of Heaven, which, the other half is what I really read this year. The Only Good Indians, Battle Scars, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and Trust No One, which is a big collection of short stories for the X-Files. So, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that should be 8, not 12. That's really stupid. I'll have to see what's going on there. Let's see. Depending on the book size, a novel a week, I think, is doable. I'm slow. I'm a slow reader. If I'm doing it purely reading, physical, it'll take me a while. Which, especially if I don't like the book, it'll take me a long while. Like, what is it, Rogue Planet? I was working on that one for like a year. I was like, I got to read one chapter at a time, and then read something else in between these chapters. So, do you still talk to Star Raptor? Basically, the only guy on YouTube that talks about canon Star Wars content. I really haven't talked to him that much lately. Really cool guy. It would be like we'd talk on Messenger. We were always talking canon together, and now that I don't care about the canon, I don't know. He's not really focused on the expanded universe stuff, so I need to check in with him. Thanks for reminding me to do that. Really cool guy. Rob D. I do not hear good things about Jedi Battle Scars because the author Sam Maggs is very left-wing political. Yes. Definitely goes through in the book. I mean, sometimes these people, they have these really weird ideas on how things should work, and it doesn't. It's just stupid. It's like, why? I shouldn't get political, but it's these things that people write in their books. So just stop. They just got to stop. I'm not gonna go there. That'll be another live stream, right? We should do a political live stream. Final Edition says, gotta go. Power went out. Good night. Great stream. Thank you, Final Editions. Have a good night. Me and My Piano says, yeah, I'm trying to read the first book of the Han Solo trilogy, Paradise Snare, and I'm having a hard time getting through, so I decided to read Vector Prime again before going back to it. Okay. Yeah. I read that one a long time ago, the Han Solo trilogy. I am revisiting in a different way with this one. I'm going to listen to the abridged audiobook, and I know that sometimes those can make things seem better than the way they were. They kind of trim the fat and get all the junk out. But I don't really consider that cheating because, it's like I read it once before, and I'd like to refresh my memory. And if there's the abridged audio, I can just go listen to that, and it'll bring things back. You know what I mean? So I did that for Paradise Snare, and I need to do it for the second book, which is Hutt Gambit, right? I can't recall it. Get that power up and good luck at Final Editions. That's funny. But yeah, where were we here on my screwed up Goodreads saying I've read 12 books when I haven't. That's so dumb. I think I have so I need to update my currently reading. Is there not, what happened to the, see, I don't really get on here on the desktop version of the website. It's always in the app. So I'm not familiar with where everything is in here. I really hate that there's duplicate things in here. That's so stupid. And I don't know where to find want to read. There we go. It shows that I've got 30 things in there that I want to read. Horror Store, which is that Grady Hendrix book that I have not read yet. That was like his first book. The Hobbit. I might be reading The Hobbit. Completely forgot about that. My 10-year-old, me and my wife gave him a copy of The Hobbit for Christmas. And I was like, when you decide to read that, I would like to read it. I got myself a copy too. And I thought that'd be kind of like a fun thing that we do. We need to read a book together and talk about it. Because I want him, he does great. Him and his, the middle child, they're both excellent readers. They're reading a lot of stuff. And I'm trying to get them into the Star Wars expanded universe, but they just don't really care for that right now. They're more obsessed with playing Star Wars Legos. So, whatever. That's fine. And I know that the names and things in Star Wars are a little bit more complicated, but he did read one thing one time, and I think that's what turned him on. It was actually a Rogue One tie-in type thing material for younger crowds, and I think things were just so complicated to actually say when he was younger that he was like, I'm not doing that again. But he could do it. I know he can. So I might be reading The Hobbit when he picks his up. I know he said he wanted to do that in March. So that's next week. There's another X-Files book that I have on here that I want to read, The Devil's Advocate, and eventually Dune. I have a copy of Dune up there. I would like to read the first book. And random, there's like a horror book that I have. It's called The Wells of Hell. It's like an old junky looking type book that I thought, that looks weird. I mean, it's like there's a well on the cover and it looks like a fiery egg coming out of it. I don't know why I have it, but I thought maybe I should just give that a shot. And there's just some other random stuff in there, like a World of Warcraft book. I need to finish the Lacanis trilogy. I'm in the middle of book 2. I put that one away. I don't know why I haven't picked that back up to finish it out. An Echo of Things to Come, because it's great. The first book was awesome. Second book is great. It's that thing. It's that Star Wars, man. You start reading the Star Wars and you're like, I got to go with another one. Doesn't matter what I was reading before. I got to read Star Wars. It hooks you, man. Me and My Piano. I rented an interesting book from the library called George Lucas, A Life. Can't wait to get into that. Interesting. So I don't really read much books like that. There was one that I really wanted to read, but I never did. It was about Harold Ramis, the actor, writer, director. He was Egon in Ghostbusters. There's a book about him. I thought that'd be cool. They still have hardcovers available on Amazon for that one. So Allies Land says, loved The Hobbit, and I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I almost prefer it over The Lord of the Rings. See, I haven't read the Lord of the Rings books. I have read The Hobbit a long time ago, and I just thought I would love to revisit it, and what better way to revisit it than with a kid who's going to experience it for the first time. So that's what I plan on doing. So my next book, most likely going to be The Hobbit. And I do have the Lord of the Rings books, just haven't read them yet. And as soon as I get done with the Star Wars Expanded Universe, I would love to dive into the Tolkien world, get into all of those books. There's a lot of books. You guys need to check out, if you haven't yet, Star Wars Timeline. He shared a picture with me the other day of his collection of Tolkien books, and I didn't know there were so many. So that was surprising, and he's got pretty solid collection when it comes to that. So, there's a lot to dive into. See, there's one book. I have a book on here called Watership Down. I remember I picked that one up for like 99 cents on the Kindle. And I think it's like designed. I know there's a movie. It's like designed. It looks like a kid's movie, but apparently it's like really harsh and crazy. So I'll have to do that sometime. I know Harold Ramis passed, but did Rick Moranis come back for a new Ghostbusters film? No, he did not come back for the new Ghostbusters stuff, which is sad. He retired. There was like some tragic thing that happened in his life where he's like, I got to retire, go take care of the family. But pretty sure his family like raised up and moved out by now. But yeah, he did not come back. The first Ghostbuster sequel, that Afterlife, oh, that was fine. The second one that came out with Frozen Empire, huge disappointment. I don't think I've really talked about that on here, but I was really disappointed with it. It got weird. It went into like a fantasy type thing. I know it's like sci-fi and silliness and stuff, but like that movie just took it into a whole different direction that it should not have gone into. Let's see. Aragon randomly popped in my head. Have you read that? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Like that dragon type book. I know the covers that you're talking about. Aragon, is that what it is? I have not read that. Sorry. But hey, if you guys are looking for a good fantasy read, something that's like not Lord of the Rings, I'm going to recommend the Dragon Slayer novelization. That was great. We talked about that over on the Paper Movies Novelization Book Club channel with Adam and Jeremy. I got to read a novelization, man. I got to get that podcast going up again. It's we hit like 300 subscribers over there, and then we stopped making videos. Everybody got busy. It was like the holidays, and everybody just kind of got busy, and we haven't gone back yet. We haven't even talked about it, sadly. So it's not dead. Don't unsubscribe from Paper Movies. We'll come back on there. Maybe me and Adam and Jeremy should schedule a live stream and come on there and talk about Paper Movies. Some good old novelizations. I don't think there's been any novelizations lately that have been released. The last one that I did receive a review copy for Terrifier 3, that novelization. I never got around to reading it, but I believe I made a video about it, like announcing it. I was like, oh, check this book out. I'll probably do that this year, October. Yeah, the review's a little bit late, but hey, some of these things I don't know if they're really worth reading. But it could be a fun one. Okay, yep. Yeah, that's the one. That's the dragon one. How many channels you got? Well, I had a couple. I deleted them, though. I created an X-Files book channel. I created one that was another Star Wars channel. I had a Christian channel that I was going to work on, but I never really did anything with those, so I deleted them all. But I have the Tuscan Reader, which is just like, that was supposed to be the podcast channel, and like EU only. Here on the Geek Static, I got more material. So Tuscan Reader, and then just the Paper Movies, just the novelization book club. That was always fun. See, I know I did read. See, I think there was a novelization that I was that I did read, but I never talked about it. What was that? I forgot. That's why it's important for me to record these things as soon as I finish, so I don't forget what I've done. I do have some X-Files content that I would like to put out there, though. I read all of those adult books, the X-Files stuff, and I have all the reviews written. But here's the thing that kind of sucks about it with the X-Files reviews is that, one, people don't care about that here on my channel, which is why I created an X-Files channel, but nobody cared to check that out either, which, I understand. It's an older franchise. They've moved on, new materials out there. Nobody really cares about stuff from the 90s and early 2000s anymore. So I wiped it. It's like X-Files Conspiracy. I think that's what I called it. But so that was kind of discouraging. Like, oh man, no one really cares. So I've got a couple more of those book reviews that I need to record and post here for the two people that will enjoy that. But I read the books and reviewed them before I finished watching the series. So like, I actually read the books before I started the series, which is stupid, right? So my opinion would probably be completely different now after review, like after I've seen the whole series. So seems like some of the kids are fighting with each other. Why this late at night? Because they're psychos. Oh, geez. That's so dumb. But yeah, it's just the 3 channels. But the Paper Movies is split between 3 of us, so it's not like my channel. That's got Jeremy from Stupid Chainsaw Productions and Adam from Red 5 Reviews. So yeah, good stuff. I know that Adam sent me a little teaser for a video that he plans on releasing. It was pretty fun. I don't know if he did it or not yet, but you go check him out. It's a pretty funny little short that he's going to release. About Star Wars. Anyway, folks, I think I'm going to get out of here. It's getting late. Got to go to work tomorrow. Not looking forward to that. But what I am looking forward to is editing the Star Wars book review that I just did. I'll probably schedule that out for tomorrow release. If it doesn't come out tomorrow, it'll be Saturday. So, yeah, I haven't downloaded any more editing software to my computer since it was fixed. So I'm scared to. So I've got my iPad. I could just edit the video on that. Lazier editing, but hey, these videos are lazy already. So whatever. Couldn't fulfill my full vision for the channel, which is why I kind of just don't care. But I do care. You know what I mean? You do but you don't type of a thing. Oh crap! I almost closed the page on accident before I wanted to. Me and my panel look forward to the review. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, commenting, asking these questions, and pitching in. It's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I got to start doing these a lot more often. So you guys make it worth it. I was thinking, oh, no one's going to get on here. I'm just going to look like an idiot talking to myself for 5 minutes. But here we are, an hour and 42 minutes in. So much fun. I like it. I like hanging out with you guys. You guys all have a great night and a good weekend. And look forward to talking with you all again very soon. So have a good night. Have a blessed one. And go tell somebody that you love them and give them a hug.